Good morning. Welcome to our next presentation in our Woohoo Weekend. My name is Tracy Held and I'm in Melbourne in Australia. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation so far. This is the card that I'm going to be showing you today. So it is, in my opinion, a really fun card, and it maybe looks a little bit complicated, but it's actually really easy. And it's going to open up like that. Okay, so you've got a bit of fun things happening over there. Let's talk about the products that I'm going to be using. We've got the Fragrant Flowers stamp set, and I'm going to be using the matching dies, which seem to have disappeared on me. So the dies have cutouts for all the images. They've also got what do I want to call it, like pieces that fit around the sentiments, so tags for the sentiments, and they've got some detailed leaves. Now, the one thing that I do find with the stamp set, although I love the stamp set and I love the images, the sentiments are sometimes not what you need, and they are actually really big sentiments. So sometimes you do need to add some sentiments to that. And my always on hand, used all the time set for sentiments is the go-to greetings. If you haven't got this, you probably want it. I did a stamp camp a couple of weeks ago, and I think that this was the stamp set that was used the most, just because the fonts are so lovely and it's got just about everything that you want to say. Now, the DSP is a celebration item, and it's called Favored Flowers. I'm going to just show you that DSP in case you haven't seen it before. You probably have, but it is beautiful, and you can see I've been using it quite a lot. Let's just keep flipping through, and you've got your more subtle or just decorative images on the back. And the one thing that is absolutely awesome with this DSP, if you hate fussy cutting, the one die that I do happen to have on hand is this one from the Favored Flowers, and it will actually cut out that flower image, and the other one will also cut this. So it makes it really easy for you to have perfect flowers on hand that look like you're an absolute artist and you haven't picked up a pen or a blend or an anything to color anything in. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Let's get started on my card. I have got the measurements up in the description. Sorry, I got distracted because I was just looking at comments and I see that Nancy agrees with me that go-to greetings is awesome for sentiments. All right, so we've got a standard half sheet of cardstock, and I don't know if you can see I have scored it down the center just to make it easier for us. Now, what I'm going to do, and it doesn't matter which side you do it on, I'm going to put my edge of the cardstock at 5 centimeters, which would be your 2 inches, and I'm going to cut that up to my score line. Okay. And then I'm going to just cut along the score line to where I've cut. Okay, let's just give it a tiny bit more. There we go. So I'm cutting out a square, and we've got that left over. And like I said, it doesn't matter which side. If you've cut it on the other side, you just need to turn it the other way. Just make sure that whichever way you're using, you've got your card that's actually opening up in the right direction. Okay, okay, bone folder's hiding from me. That's okay, we'll just give it a good press with my finger. Now we're going to need 2 flowers, but because I've got the second one on the inside and this is not a symmetrical image, we're going to need to reverse stamp it. Okay, so the way that I do that is you need your stamp apparatus and you need a silicone mat. So with my Memento ink, I'm going to just ink up my flower. I like to rub the ink on because I find that when it's a big stamp that gives me good coverage. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp it onto my silicone mat. Now, because there is so much detail in the stamp set, I like to just do it a second time so that I make sure I'm getting a really good image on the silicone. If you feel that it's dark enough, maybe your ink pad's a bit juicier than mine, you don't have to do it twice. That's just my little neurotic thing. And then we're taking a piece of cardstock, placing it over the image, and I'm not worrying about the front image, it's the back one that I'm really concerned about. So we're going to just stamp it again, give it a good press, and like I say, because I'm not worried about the front, I'm not inking it up again or having any issues with that. Okay, and that's how it's stamped on the front, and I've got the image on the back. And I must have had something on my mat that had smudged, but that's okay. Now I want the back image. Okay, so just make sure that you know exactly which way you stamped it. That was my front, that was my back. I've actually got a really nice image coming out. That was a good one. Just be careful with this because you're not going to want to stamp it again, where although you're going to get it on the same place with the stamp apparatus, you're not going to be able to lay your cardstock exactly over. So be careful with that one. And then we're going to color it in. Now, we all know I don't do fancy coloring. So with my dark Calypso Coral, all that I do is just go around the edge of the petal. Okay. And I'm not going to color the whole flower here. You don't have to worry that you're going to have to get bored watching me color. And then I go over the lines that we've already got here. I'm then going to take my dark petal pink and just roughly color over. Okay, now I'm not concerned if it doesn't cover everything because I quite like it if we've got a bit of white space showing. I think that it just makes for light and shadows in the petals. We're going to do the same thing with the leaves. This time I've got the dark soft succulent. So again, all that I do is go around the outside of the leaf, and here, because it's got so many veins, just very roughly going over the veins, and we're going to fill it in with my light soft succulent. And again, just really roughly. It doesn't have, if you're really fanatic and you like coloring, and then obviously you can go ahead and color it as much as you like. I was aiming for that kind of look. Maybe could have gone with the light petal pink, but I just found that that looked a little bit light. Right, so once we've got that all colored in, we're going to take our die and cut it out. Now remember, this is the reverse image, so when you're cutting it, you actually have to turn it over, but because the reverse image is in the exact same spot, you're going to cut it out and you're going to land up with your two images, which are not those two. Right, try that again. Sorry, you can see how many times I've done this. So that's the reverse image. We can see that. And when I put them together, they're now going to line up exactly. Okay, so put that aside for one moment. That's pretty much our stamping and colouring done. Now you could stamp your sentiment now, but I prefer to do it at the end so that I can see where everything's sitting before I line it up. So I've got my piece of Calypso Coral cardstock. I decided that for this one I would go with the orange rather than using Mossy Meadow. Doesn't matter, whatever color you like, you can use. And we're going to stick our DSP onto the front. And the only thing that I will tell you is this is ever so slightly longer than it is wide. So when you're sticking it, just make sure that you've actually got it the right way, particularly if your DSP is directional, or I was trying to do this with a different stamp set and I'd actually stamped onto the DSP and then realized I'd stamped it the wrong way, so ask me why I'm warning you about that. Right. And then we're going to stick that onto the front of our card. Okay, and sorry, I'm just having a bit of an issue with my eye, which you're probably tired of hearing about because it's been going on for so long. I'm tired of dealing with it because it's been going on for so long, but we will get there eventually. So sometimes it's a bit difficult for me to see where things are or if they're straight or fun stuff like that. But that's okay. It's creative. That's fine. Right, let's finish this and then we'll do the sentiment. Now, truth of the matter, I stuffed up with this one. Okay, so if you like what I've messed there, what I did was I opened this and I thought there's something wrong here. It needs a strip of DSP. I stuck that on the bottom and then realized that it looked so wrong because I hadn't put my insert in. So I then had to cut the insert down so that everything fitted. If you like it like that, you can do that. I'm not going to do it that way for this one. So I have my strip of DSP, and again, this is the same size as that. So that was what I was saying to you. Now, if you want to just make sure that you're sticking it in the right place, I'm going to stick that along the bottom over here. And then that's going inside. Right, so that's our top bit done. Now I can stamp my sentiment. And are we not happy that we've got the whole embossing kit back? That was a stupid way of phrasing it. I am absolutely delighted. So we can give it a rub with the embossing buddy. Don't rub too hard because this is black cardstock, so the powder will actually show up. And I've got my very big happy birthday from that go-to greetings. Now, because it's such a big stamp, I'm actually just going to apply the Versamark to the stamp rather than the stamp to the Versamark. Okay. And I'll try not to get my head in, but I'm just trying to see. Okay, we'll just hope that that's sort of straight, and there we go. Best thing ever, the tray. If you don't have this, it is, I think it was in the last mini catalogue and it has carried over, so you definitely want this embossing kit. It comes with tweezers and a paintbrush as well. Throw my embossing powder over. I'm just going to throw it back. Oh, I should be doing that on camera, so sorry, so that you can actually see how easy it is. No mess, no fuss. You don't have to worry about having a folded piece of paper. Okay. All right, now, am I still live? Can somebody just comment, because I don't know whether I've dropped out or not. All right, this is saying that I'm going, so I'm going to just keep going and hope for the best. If it's not, I'll come back and do it and redo it later. Okay, right. Okay, so I've got a comment. Thanks, Deb. So it looks like I actually am still live. I wasn't sure if my internet had dropped out or something strange had gone on. Okay, and lastly, we're going to put our, if I can find my right pieces again. Problem when you've been preparing and you have too many pieces. So it doesn't matter which one goes on which side. The back is going to be covered up, that you're not going to see it. And it's just a matter of whether you want it to go that way or that way. I'm going to go with that way for this one, I think. I said the one way and then went and flipped it over, didn't I? Okay, so that's going on there. And then we're going to put glue on the back of this one. And match it up so that it's lying exactly on the back. Give it a good press with your bone folder. And of course, every card needs some bling. So I've gone for the brushed brass butterflies. Does anybody else have a problem saying that? I don't know who came up with that name, but it's the biggest tongue twister that they actually could have come up with. So in my life, they have to be called BBBs because I can't say that. And just a couple of butterflies. And our card is done. Okay, there we have it. Enjoy the rest of Woohoo Weekend, and we will catch you next time. Have a good day. Bye.